The date is November 24th, 1968. In the stifling heat of Phuoc Thi Province, Sergeant Ted Rowe lies motionless in the elephant grass. He can hear them, the distinct rustle of North Vietnamese Army regulars moving just 50 meters to his east. He counts the footsteps. 10 men, perhaps 12. Rowe commands a 5-man patrol from the New Zealand Special Air Service. For 3 days, they have been deep in the jungle, shadowing Route 2, a critical NVA infiltration route. Their orders are simple: stay hidden, gather intelligence, avoid contact. But now, the enemy patrol is on a direct course for their position. Rowe faces the patrol leader's nightmare: evade and risk detection, or hold their breath and pray. His signal is clear: freeze. Don't move. Don't breathe. The NVA soldiers pass within 20 meters. So close, Rowe can make out their quiet chatter. Then they move on, completely unaware of the 5 camouflaged Kiwis concealed in the grass. Rowe exhales slowly. It was too close. But what he doesn't know is that those 12 soldiers are merely the tip of the spear. They are the scouts for a Viet Cong main force company, 90 hardened fighters, digging into a defensive position in a rubber plantation just 300 meters away. In 44 minutes, these 5 New Zealanders will be trapped in the longest sustained firefight of their tour. They will expend over 3,000 rounds, call in artillery and air strikes danger close to their own position, and stare down annihilation 3 times. And when the smoke clears, not a single man will have a scratch. Before we continue, drop a quick comment below. Where are you watching from? What city and country? It's always fascinating to see our global audience. Now let's dive into how 5 men survived what should have been impossible. The New Zealand SAS operated on a simple doctrine: be the eyes and ears, not the fist. In November 1968, Sergeant Ted Rowe's 5-man patrol, call sign 20 Alpha, embodied this. They were 3 days into a reconnaissance mission near a major enemy infiltration route, living off the land and avoiding contact. After the close call with the NVA scouts, Rowe made a fateful decision: stay and observe. For 2 hours, they watched small groups of Viet Cong converge on a rubber plantation 300 meters away. Through his binoculars, Rowe saw them digging fighting positions. This was a main force company, nearly 100 strong, setting up a base camp dangerously close to Allied forces. The intelligence was critical. Rowe planned to observe until last light, then exfiltrate and report. At 1,520 hours, their mission of stealth ended. A new VC patrol, 8 men, walked directly toward their hiding spot. At 15 meters, with no other option, Rowe opened fire. His M16 burst dropped 2 VC. Trooper McAlpine's M60 machine gun tore through the rest. For a few seconds, there was silence. Then, the jungle erupted. From the plantation, 90 enemy fighters unleashed a storm of AK-47 and machine gun fire, their bullets snapping overhead. Rowe screamed into the radio: contact. Heavy contact. Request immediate fire support. Australian artillery responded, but the first 105mm rounds were minutes away. The VC were already advancing. Rowe ordered a tactical retreat to a small, defensible rise 50 meters south. Under covering fire from McAlpine's M60, they sprinted and dove behind the scant cover just as the enemy assault began. The Viet Cong advanced with textbook precision, pinning and flanking. 5 men against 90. But the SAS had 2 key advantages: brutal training and overwhelming firepower density. McAlpine's M60 hammered out suppressive fire. Somerville's M79 grenade launcher lobbed 40mm shells into enemy formations. The rest laid down disciplined rifle fire. At 15:23, the first artillery shell screamed overhead, landing 400 meters off target. Rowe coolly radioed corrections: add 200, drop 50. The next salvo walked directly into the plantation, buying them precious seconds. But the VC kept coming, launching simultaneous assaults from the north and east. McAlpine's M60 traversed, cutting down a charge across open ground. Somerville's grenades scattered a flanking maneuver. The fight became a battle of attrition. By 15:30, 10 minutes in, the problem was critical. "We're burning through ammo too fast." Moyni yelled. The M60 was half gone. Rowe knew they needed air support, and fast. He called for it. The response: 2 Bush Ranger gunships were 8 minutes out. Those 8 minutes felt like an eternity. The VC's third assault came from 3 sides. McAlpine's M60 barrel glowed red-hot. Somerville fired his last M79 grenade. The enemy closed to 50 meters, then 40. RPGs streaked past, shrapnel tearing through the trees around them. They were being ranged for a kill shot. At 15:37, the M60 fell silent, its ammunition exhausted. McAlpine drew his Browning pistol, 13 rounds against an army. The situation was terminal. Just then, the radio crackled. "Bush Ranger 71, 5 minutes out." Rowe popped a yellow smoke grenade. It was the longest 5 minutes of their lives. The distinct whump-whump of Huey helicopters turned into the deafening roar of miniguns. Bush Ranger 71 dove in, its 6-barreled M134 Gatling gun firing 4,000 rounds a minute. The sound was a continuous, tearing buzzsaw. The VC assault from the north disintegrated into a mist of blood and debris. The eastern flank was similarly annihilated. For the first time in 20 minutes, the shooting stopped. But they weren't safe. Rowe requested extraction. The answer: they had to move 3 kilometers on foot to landing zone Bravo. With the Bush Rangers providing a fleeting escort, 20 Alpha abandoned all non-essential gear and melted into the jungle, pursued by a vengeful enemy. The trek was a nightmare of silence and tension. Every snap twig echoed their location. At 16:15, Weirmouth on rear security signaled contact. VC were on their trail. They broke into a run, sacrificing stealth for speed. Just as the pursuing VC closed in, a new savior arrived, Cobra 12, a flight of U.S. Army AH-1 attack helicopters. The Cobras sanitized their back trail with 20mm cannons and rockets, silencing the pursuit. At 16:54, the battered patrol burst into the clearing of LZ Bravo. As they set a hasty perimeter with their last rounds, the Cobras engaged one final VC force trying to intercept them. The extraction, Huey swooped in. "Go, go, go," Rowe yelled. They sprinted and threw themselves into the helicopter as it lifted off. Sprawled in the cargo bay, caked in mud and sweat, they did a check. McAlpine, no injuries. Somerville, no injuries. Moyni, Weirmouth, Rowe, all unharmed. Not a single scratch. The door gunner stared in disbelief. "You're either really good or really lucky." Rowe leaned back, exhausted. A little bit of both. They had fired over 3,000 rounds, called in dozens of artillery strikes and multiple gun runs, and inflicted devastating casualties on a superior force. Through a combination of supreme training, devastating firepower, and sheer fortune, 5 men had survived the impossible. But there was another factor at play, something beyond ammunition and air support. The Viet Cong had numbers and resolve, but the SAS possessed a will that defied the brutal arithmetic of the situation. 5 against 90 was a death sentence. They transformed it into a victory through sheer professional grit. The firefight of November 24, 1968, became a tactical case study for Allied forces. It proved 4 critical lessons. First, small patrols worked. While American doctrine favored large-scale search and destroy missions, the SAS proved that a tiny, elite team could penetrate deep, gather vital intelligence with a minimal footprint, and trigger major disruptive operations, as 20 Alpha's intelligence did for weeks in Phuoc Thi province. Second, firepower was a lifeline, not a luxury. The patrol would have been overrun in minutes without immediate artillery and the devastatingly precise gun runs from the Bush Ranger and Cobra helicopters. This lesson cemented the need for pre-coordinated, on-call fire support for every SAS patrol that followed. Third, ammunition doctrine had to change. The standard load for a 5-day reconnaissance was exhausted in 44 minutes of combat. From then on, patrols carried significantly more rounds for the M60, more M16 magazines, and more M79 grenades, accepting the heavier load for the chance to survive a prolonged fight. Fourth, and most importantly, training was the ultimate advantage. Under fire, soldiers don't rise to the occasion, they fall to their level of training. Rowe's team had drilled until their reactions were instinctive. There was no hesitation, no panic, only execution. The NZSAS continued its mission in Vietnam until 1971, its record defined by high enemy casualties and remarkably low friendly losses. The battle on November 24th wasn't the war's largest, but it was a perfect demonstration of a profound truth, that with elite training, the right tools, and unwavering support, soldiers could conquer impossible odds. 44 minutes, 5 men, 90 enemy fighters, 0 casualties. The numbers should not have worked, but they did.